العواصف الممطرة التي اجتاحت 9 أقاليم جنوب الصين طوال اليومين الماضيين وصاحبتها فيضانات وانهيارات أرضية أدت إلى مقتل حوالي 55 شخصا وفقدان أكثر من 10 آخرين بحسب ما أفادت به السلطات الصينية، التي أكدت في الوقت نفسه إجلاء 1.5 مليون شخص من منازلهم تحسبا لارتفاع منسوب المياه الذي فاق المترين في بعض القرى والمناطق المنكوبة مع تواصل تساقط الأمطار. مساء أمس تسببت الأمطار الطوفانية التي تساقطت على مناطق في مقاطعة فوجيان في سقوط عشرات المنازل وقطع طرقات، ما اضطر فرق الإنقاذ لإجلاء ما يزيد عن 500 شخص من منازلهم. الأمطار الطوفانية والفيضانات التي ضربت مناطق في جنوب الصين أدت في العام 2012 إلى مقتل قرابة 700 شخص.
So evidently there is a tornado about 30 miles northeast of here, and this is what the sky has been doing for the last half hour. It's non-stop lightning with no thunder. I have never seen this before in my life. That is really cool.
The spring weather brought with it something pretty unsightly near St. Paul. Hundreds of fish recently died in Beaver Lake. As you can see, they ended up all along the shoreline there. Now, fish kills are not, of course, unusual this time of year, but this one has Ramsey County officials worried.
The fish died even though there is an aeration system in Beaver Lake.
This whole little bay area here was just thick with dead fish.
Fish by the hundreds, maybe even the thousands. When the ice finally went out on Beaver Lake a week and a half ago, this is what it left behind.
It's estimated that more than 7,000 pounds of dead fish, mostly catfish, sunfish, and bass, have been taken out of Beaver Lake. But what caused this unusually large fish kill is still a mystery.
People as far afield as Cornwall and Lancashire have reported seeing a large meteor flashing across the sky last night.
Witnesses described a blue or green light with a tail behind it. This shot was picked up by a CCTV camera. There it is. Look at that. In Cardiff. Experts believe it may have been part of the debris left by Halley's
Eso quiere decir que vamos a salir campeones, che. ¿Qué mierda es eso?
Mira, qué buena.
Another Connecticut town has been hit by a meteorite.
Yeah, last month a meteorite landed on a house in Wolcott, and this week, less than a mile away, a meteorite crashed through a gutter and landed on the lawn outside a Waterbury home. This meteorite was found intact, unlike the one in Wolcott, which split in two. As you can see, it's about the same size and shape of an avocado. The homeowner contacted the Yale Peabody Museum of Natural History, which confirmed that it is indeed.
One of the scariest scenes on video that Mother Nature can produce at Lake Mille Lacs, east of Brainerd in mid-Minnesota. This is what an ice shove or an ice surge looks like. It was a wall of half-melted ice shards driven by wind, gusts of up to 55 miles an hour. It happened along 10 miles of shoreline, 30 feet of ice.
It's destroying everything in its path. And Sam, this is about these temperature changes, right?
Yeah, because on one side of the country, the west, we've got 80s, 90s, and 100s today. On part of the country, we've got these cold wind chills, 20s, 30s, and 40s.
And it happened in Manitoba, Canada this weekend, too, where an incredible tsunami-like wave of ice destroyed a dozen two-story homes.
There is a growing mystery in California tonight where families in one community are watching helplessly as their homes sink into the earth. Walls cracking, entire homes condemned. What's happening underneath? Here's ABC's Akiko Fujita tonight.
The slow-motion disaster is threatening all 30 homes in this Northern California neighborhood. Small cracks just weeks ago, now gaping holes, the hillside collapsing. Jagtar Singh watched the ground pull his neighbor's home 10 feet below the street, and he's seen the cracks eat away at his house.
Eight people have died and 13 were injured from a cyclone that hit Sri Lanka on Wednesday, government officials said. Cyclone Mahasin, which brought heavy rains and landslides to Sri Lanka, was expected to hit Bangladesh and Myanmar later this week.
Bangladesh has raised its storm warning to level 7 as Cyclone Mahasin made landfall. Heavy rain and waves of more than 2 meters threaten to bring flooding to several low-lying coastal cities.
At least 6 people have been killed in Bangladesh by a cyclone that battered the coastline on Thursday.
And some Chinese people may not need much persuasion to take a trip overseas, especially when something like this just appeared in the middle of the street. If you're thinking to yourself, what on earth is that? You're not alone. This big, foamy, and according to media reports, foul-smelling ooze appeared in China's eastern city of Nanjing on Saturday evening. Apparently the street cracked open and it just started to ooze out. At its peak, it spread over 150-foot radius and stood a foot high. Bystanders are stumped as to what this mysterious substance may be. The area was cordoned off and the ooze was washed into the sewers. What was left eventually receded back into the cracks. No one knows what the ooze is or where it came from.
Destruction and desperation in the Oklahoma town of Moore, where a deadly tornado tore through on Monday afternoon. A frantic search for survivors is being carried out by emergency workers at homes, schools and a hospital hit by the twister. 24 bodies, including several children, have so far been...
إعصار أوكلاهوما مر من هنا. أكثر من 90 قتيلا وعشرات المفقودين وآلاف المشردين هي الحصيلة المؤقتة للإعصار الذي ضرب مدينة مور بضاحية أوكلاهوما سيتي مساء الاثنين، مخلفا وراءه دمارا وخرابا كبيرين لاحقا بالمباني والطرقات والبنى التحتية. من بين القتلى عدد من طلاب هذه المدرسة، أو بالأحرى ما تبقى منها من حطام، لاقوا مصرعهم تحت الأنقاض، حيث قدر عدد الأطفال القتلى ب20 طفلا على الأقل، فيما نجحت فرق الإنقاذ في إسعاف حوالي 140 شخصا هم الآن بصدد تلقي العلاج في المستشفيات. الإعصار بلغت سرعته حوالي 320 كيلومترا في الساعة، سرعة كانت قادرة على نسف عشرات المباني في لحظات، كما تسببت في اقتلاع أعمدة الهاتف والكهرباء، ما أدى إلى انقطاع التيار الكهربائي عن عشرات المنازل. وقد حلت على عين المكان قوات من رجال الإطفاء لتقديم يد العون للأهالي، فيما أمر الرئيس باراك أوباما في اتصال هاتفي مع حاكمة الولاية ماري فالين بتقديم مساعدات مالية فيدرالية عاجلة للولاية، كما تم إرسال حوالي 100 عنصر من قوات الحرس الوطني والجيش للمساعدة في عمليات الإنقاذ.